What's up, Bama Nation? How we feeling? Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. It's Sunday, which means it's time for me to give my reaction to what happened in the previous game, or it's time to go over what we learned about this version of the Crimson Tide after its 20-9 victory over Louisiana State University, those LSU Tigers inside Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saban Field. Alabama continues to be undefeated in Southeastern Conference play. The number one thing we learned is Kane, Wommack, and this 4-2-5 defense. I understand we think about this defense should be better against the run. It should be. This defense should be creating more sacks, and it should. This defense should be a more elite group. Is it an elite group? No. But as much as we critique Kane Wommack, as much as we talk about what his group is not doing, we need to even more so come back around, put our arms around this brother, embrace this man, go attaboy Kane Wommack for the times and the moments where this defense bows up, it doesn't give up touchdowns, and better yet, when it takes the football away. The last 2 weeks, this defense has been huge against South Carolina and LSU, because as good as the offense has been, as good as Ryan Grubb has been as a play caller, and he has been, as sharp as Ty Simpson has been, and he's played like one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the country, the last 2 weeks, the offense has been anemic. It's gotten off to slow starts, hasn't been scoring as rapidly, right? So it's taken the defense, it's taken Kane Wommack and this group creating turnovers, getting sacks, flexing muscle, bowing up, not allowing the opposition to score, and better yet, taking the football away. When you look at, since the Georgia game, this defense has held Missouri, Vanderbilt, Tennessee to under their norm. The Tennessee game in particular, the Volunteers came in averaging 48 points a game, 550 yards offensively per game, which was tops in the SEC, among the tops in the nation. Alabama held the Volunteers to 20 points, season low. I think 419 yards offensively, a season low. Look at what this group has done. You look at the South Carolina game when the offense was struggling until the last drive, right? 10 minutes to go in the game. You're down by 8, 22 to 14? You gotta have it. And then Ty Simpson and the offense puts together a drive to score and get a 2-point conversion. But it was the defense, right, early on in the game. Day Jones, Deshaun Jones, pick six. Later on in the game, it was the two Bama natives, Kane III and Deontay Lawson, combining on a strip fumble of Lenore Sellers, and Alabama recovers that. You look at it against LSU, it was Nakai Hill-Green punching the ball out, forced fumble, big play, and Bama recovers. It was Yanze Pierre getting a forced fumble there. London Simmons, the freshman, big play, recovering the fumble. Alabama is plus 10 in the turnover margin, which means they don't give up the football, but on top of that, they're taking the football away. Big job by Kane Wommack, of whom he's already getting his name out there for some head coaching offers. He's been a head coach before. He operates like a head coach. If I'm an Alabama football fan, I'm wrapping my arms around this brother, because Kane Wommack's defense is coming to life, y'all, before our very eyes. It's coming to life. Yanze Pierre has turned up. He's looking like his cousin Courtney Upshaw, former two-time national champion at Alabama. Keon Keeley is doing some nice things. Jordan Renard, despite the penalty he had against LSU, doing some nice things. Edric Hill doing some nice things. The linebacker play has stepped up. Nakai Hill-Green, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lawson. In the secondary, Dijon Lee's getting better and better and better as a 6'4", 200-plus pound corner. You look at what Bray Hubbard's doing on the back end in terms of leadership. Kane Wommack is having this defense play better with each game. So as much as we like to critique him, we got to come right back around and love on his brother because he's having this defense play well. It's the number one thing I take here from the matchup against LSU. But number two thing we learned is we've seen some special players come through this program rocking number 17. I mean, Kenyon Drizzy Drake at running back for starters, y'all. When healthy, speed, explosiveness, big playability. The 99-yard kickoff return touchdown against Clemson in the 2016 national championship game, the 2015 season, Drake was special. We're in 17. Jalen Waddle, special. We're in 17. And this is in a group where you had a Jerry Jeudy, a Henry Ruggs, a Devontae Smith, but you still had Waddle baby saying, hey, you can't skip out on me now. I'm going to make you watch me. And Jalen Waddle from Houston, Texas, housing that ball to the crib every time he touched the football. Jalen Waddle was special. Here comes our next special 17, Lottie Brooks. Lottie Brooks is special. And we saw this against Missouri, right? Ryan Williams battling through some injuries there. Had some early struggles with drops. And what does Lottie Brooks do against Missouri? Was the leading receiver that game. And then against LSU, Lottie Brooks made some big plays, including a huge catch on one drive from Ty Simpson, setting up a score there. So Brooks is a dynamic talent. And when you talk about having your most consistent receiver in Jeremy Bernard, right? And then you've got Ryan Williams when healthy. He's your most explosive, your best receiver, your best playmaker when healthy. Then you have Isaiah Horton when healthy, your most physical playmaker at 6'4". And then last you got Lottie Brooks, the talented freshman who can take the top off a defense. So what we learned against LSU, here's another special player wearing number 17 here for Alabama. And then, of course, I mean, you're throwing, I guess, maybe Isaiah Bond in there. I mean, he did wear 17, but he left Alabama to go to Texas. You still have 4th and 31 grave digger because of him. But this is not about Isaiah Bond. This is about Lottie Brooks, special, wearing that number 17. The third thing we learned here, guys, is this Alabama team is finding ways to win under Kane and DeBoer. And it's not always pretty, but you find ways to win, whether it's been the offense being sharp with Ty Simpson and Ryan Grubb, or, like the last 2 weeks, the offense not as sharp and Kane Wommack in this defense flexing muscle. You find ways to win. They're playing complementary football. This is Kane and DeBoer showing off the shark-ish tendencies of, I'm in grown man ball, I'm in a grown man league, I got to coach like it, and I have to have our players prepared to play like it. He's doing that. I compare this version of Alabama football to the 2009 team, which was Saban's third season at Alabama. 2009, it found ways to win even when it wasn't pretty. 2008, Alabama was pretty good. Went undefeated through the regular season. Came up on Florida, Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer, and the SEC Championship. Lost that game. Lost the Sugar Bowl to Utah. But 2009, it took every lesson from 2008 and built off of that. In 2009, you had some moments that weren't pretty. The Tennessee game wasn't pretty. The Ole Miss game wasn't pretty. South Carolina, you literally had to throw Mark Ingram in the Wildcat to win that game. Auburn game wasn't pretty, but you found ways to win, right? And this is the same thing with this team. There's been some moments where it hasn't been pretty, but this Alabama team has found ways to win. And when you talk about being an SEC champion, when you talk about trying to get to the college football playoff, trying to achieve all of your postseason goals and aspirations, you've got to find ways to win. Alabama's been doing this here as of late with Kane and DeBoer. But despite the good, the final thing that we learned, and this is something Alabama's got to get better with, they got to be able to run the football. You got to find some way, somehow, to establish a run game, a ground game, because you can afford to play against an LSU team with an interim coach with a struggling offense, you can afford to not have your best stuff and be able to win that game. But you can't afford to play an Oklahoma team with John Mateer at quarterback healthy, with Brent Venables, one of the best defensive-minded head coaches in college football. You can't afford to have Oklahoma come into Tuscaloosa and you not have your best stuff and expect to win, because you're not. I mean, this is the same Oklahoma team that punked you last year. You only scored 3 points against them. This is the same Oklahoma team that had Jackson Arnold at the time as its quarterback. He only attempted 9 passes, but both he and the running back for the Sooners rushed for over 100 yards on you, and you lost 28-3. So Alabama's offense, it's got to start fast. Ryan Grubb, Ty Simpson, they got to get it going. They got to start fast against the Sooners. You got to put points on the scoreboard. You got to be able to run the football and have that balance if you're trying to beat Oklahoma and keep all of your postseason dreams and goals ahead of you. But that's what we learned this week, folks. We learned you got to wrap your arms around Kane Wommack. Defense is playing better. Got to do that. We've learned, hey, Lottie Brooks, the next special number 17 in this program. We learned, hey, this team, they're finding ways to win, comparing it to that 09 Bama team. And number 4, Bama's got to get to that balance. You got to find a way to run the football and come out offensively with your best stuff when you talk about facing Oklahoma this week in Tuscaloosa. Well, I'm your man, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. This is just my reaction, what we learned from Alabama's win over LSU.